Hey, welcome to Reestablishment. It's your podcast for good daily living. And today we got a special guest on who not only has been a friend of my family, me personal, we attend the same church. This guy has been amazing. He taught my daughter how to play the guitar. We've been partners in ministry and stuff for years and years.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring him on today. He is an artist. And I went to him. His name's Larry Cole. You're going to get to meet him here in a second. But I went to him last year and I said, Larry, I got a project I'm working on and I can barely draw a stick figure. And he says, I got you covered. He says, let me come and help. And I think a lot of times somebody that has got a talent that's really mastered that, it's good to hear from them, to hear their story. I think we can all learn from what other people do, especially in the framework of art, in artistry. Not only can he paint, draw, he's helped design jewelry in the past. He sculpts. He's a musician. He just flows in the world of different types of art, and it's so good to have him on. Larry, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
I just asked him, would you mind? And he says, no problem. Let's go back to the beginning. Where did the theme of art come into your life? Were you young?
Well, yes. It was in elementary school. When I was young, I wasn't very good at elementary school. I kind of failed 2 years.
Okay.
And the only thing I could do well was draw. And, that made sense to me. Spelling, I couldn't get it. Math was hard. Spelling didn't have any rules. It was like, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. And it didn't work for me. So I was just looking for something that I was good at. Especially, my mom actually went to the teacher at the school that I was at and said, find something he's good at because he's not very good at this thing called school. And so what they did was they noticed that I had a talent for art. So they put me in a special art class and stuff like that, and that kind of boosted my, esteem a little bit.
And you grew up in St. Louis area,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So kind of the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Kind of anybody in your family artist?
Let me think. A lot of them are, but they haven't done anything with it.
They didn't do anything?
Yeah. My aunt, my mother's sister, she does a lot of quilting. That's artistic for her. That's her.
So when you found this, kind of thrust yourself into drawing and things, did that kind of blossom in high school?
Yes. In fact, when I went to high school, I majored in art in high school. You can't really do that, but I did.
Yeah.
And what happened was my art teacher, I took as many art classes as I could because I wanted to play football. I knew I'd get an A in art, so I could take some of these D classes that I got D's in
bring your GPA up.
Bring it up to a C, average. And so my art teacher did some special things, like, for example, my senior year, she let me come in during study hall and do my own art project while she was teaching. I would just stand in the back of the room and do whatever. And so that helped me develop and do some things.
What about music? Were you doing music back then as well?
Yeah, when I was 9 years old, my mom loved music, and she sang in the choir at church and everything, and she played a steel guitar. And she took me to her music lessons. And I fell in love with the guitar when she took me to a Ernest Tubb concert.
That's going way back.
Yeah. And there was I still remember his name. The lead guitar player was named Billy Bird.
Wow.
And I was playing around, I was just a kid, not paying attention to it. And when he started playing, I thought, that sounds really good. I'd like to do that, And so I started taking guitar lessons, and then I dropped off. And then when, Elvis came out and all the kids were doing guitar things, I picked it up again and took
So
took
then
it
you go to
seriously.
college, and you experimented with different styles and studied under some well-known
Yeah.
artist of the time. And that's when you started sculpting, maybe?
Yeah, Youngman was a sculptor. He was world famous. Maybe his work isn't known now, but as much. But he was pretty popular back in the day in the '60s, and so I took sculpting from him. And I really enjoyed it. I was actually better at sculpting, I think, than painting or drawing.
Sculpting with what
Well,
medium?
it was lots of different mediums. Sometimes it was junk,
Yeah.
just junk art, and sometimes it was like found objects. Also, ceramics. We had a kiln, so I did a lot of ceramic work. In fact, I did some ceramic work after I was while I was teaching, and we had a educators art show at Morian Museum downtown, and I got a really good review on some of my sculptures.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you get out of college, you had a fine arts degree, and you ended up where?
The Air Force.
And so you did a hitch in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Did you kind of put the art aside, or did you fiddle with it during your service?
No, I didn't have time. I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything while I was in the service. So, I kind of let it go. And then towards the end, I needed a job because I had a family. And our daughter got born. She was born while I was in the service. So, I started looking around, and I applied in St. Louis for a job. I applied in lots of different places, but Pinellas County was the only one that had an opening. So that's how I wound up here.
Moved down here to Florida.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, my wife is from St. Pete. She grew up in St. Pete. She was born in St. Anthony's Hospital.
So you came down to be an art teacher
Yes.
and in the public school system.
Yeah.
How did that work? Did you feel comfortable doing that?
Okay. At first, I didn't, because I had been away from it for my military time, and all the educational stuff that I learned in college, I had to brush up, and it took me about maybe 5 years to start feeling comfortable again in what I was doing, because I didn't just want to do some tricky art lessons. I wanted to teach them the concepts, not just the how to do, but the reason behind why you artists do things.
The inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it took me that long to figure out a way to communicate that to the students.
At the same time, were you working on your own projects?
Yes.
What kind of stuff were you doing?
Well, I did the sculptures. I was doing some paintings. At the time that when I started, I was just doing, generic paintings, sometimes some portraits, of people that would ask me to do it.
But you found your real inspiration
Yes.
in your faith,
Yes.
and that really changed your artwork.
It did. What happened was I received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And that's what changed things, because I thought, God has given me this talent, because I didn't earn it. It was like something I was able to do without any effort. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was able to communicate that way, but I wasn't communicating with anything with substance.
Right.
It was just flowers and,
Yeah.
things like that.
Landscapes.
And
Yeah.
abstract art and stuff like that. And I thought, when God changed me in that way, and he started showing me things that I hadn't seen before. And I call that the born again experience.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're blind to some of these spiritual things, but then when, God comes into your life, you start seeing things in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, I started seeing like God's hand, his fingerprints all over the place. I'm teaching art. An example, I'm teaching art, and there's 3 primary colors, and there's black and white. Well, black and white aren't really colors. Black is the absence of light, and white is the absence of color. So they can't be colors. And I started seeing the Trinity in things, and his fingerprints and stuff.
Yeah.
And I started, because I was teaching the kids, and what really got me into it was I would show them where color comes from. It comes from light. And I'd take a prism and put it in front of a light and show them the prism.
The spectrum.
Spectrum. And I started noticing that, all the other colors are made from those 3. All of the other colors are made. How can that be?
Yeah.
And so I started seeing the Trinity and other things. Now I know there's, these analogies aren't all perfect,
Right.
But I started seeing, how can God be 3 persons? Well, this helped explain it to me. But, and, for example, H2O. There's a trinity there.
Yeah.
Solid, liquid, and gas. Atoms. There's a trinity there. Nucleus, protons, and neutrons.
Yeah.
All atoms are made. What? So all of this creation, it started me to believe that this isn't just a religion. It's the way things are.
Yeah.
And I can't change it. All I can do is choose to believe it.
And work within it.
Yeah, and work within it. And so as far as my artwork is concerned, I started thinking, okay, God, how can you use me to communicate spiritual things with light? Because art is actually manipulating light, because you see things because of light. And music is manipulating the air, vibrating the air.
Mm-hmm.
Without air, there's no sound, so there's no music. And I started noticing similarities between music and art. There's rhythm, there's balance, it's just a different thing. And with what you're doing here, you're using both.
Right.
Okay? So, so I thought, oh, Lord, show me. Show me what to paint. Show me what to draw. Show me.
So I've looked at some of your stuff, and we'll tell people how to access what you've done. What is your favorite medium of artwork?
My favorite medium has always been painting, even though I didn't feel like
With
that
acrylics or watercolors?
my medium. I do mixed medium. Yeah. Sometimes what I'll do is if I'm doing a portrait, I like doing the flesh tones in oil, and the background and the clothes and everything else in acrylic, because acrylic dries faster and the oil takes a long time to dry.
Yeah.
And so I can, step away from it for a day, come back, and it's still pliable.
Were you spending a lot of time outside of the classroom doing your artwork?
Actually, no. I didn't spend a lot of time doing it, because when you're doing it all day long, you get tired of it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I would go to music. And I would say, okay, music was more satisfying form of communicating and.
What's inspiring to me, because I'm not an artist, although I do play several instruments, very musical, but as far as drawing and painting, that's not my thing. But what really gets me is how an artist sees it before it's there. You visualize it before the experience. And I think in sports, You know, in baseball, the batter, before he steps up to the batter's box, he's visualizing the at-bat experience.
Yeah.
He knows what the pitcher throws, and he's seeing that. And I think you see the final product before you start. And I watched you do this in front of a school group where you have some music, and it's pretty quick. It only takes a few minutes. And you draw this thing, and it looks real abstract. And then when you turn it upside down,
Yeah.
it's the face of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that to me is like, wow, the insightfulness, how you were able to see it
Yeah.
in a different form. How'd you come up with stuff like that?
Well, the first time Pastor Mike Thomas asked me, he saw some guy on somewhere do that, painting the face of Jesus. And he said, "Could you do that?" I said, "I don't know, maybe." So I got online, looked at it, and I thought, okay, I can do that. And so the first time I did it, it was in color. And I did it for an Easter thing at church. And it turned out pretty good. And I thought, But it took me a long time because of color. And so when I started painting the black and white was to save time.
Yeah.
Also, black and white, you don't have to paint the whole canvas.
Right.
You paint the background black, and then all you do is paint where the light shines. And it still looks, like
it's
an
good.
image. Yeah. And so,
Just cut your time way down.
yeah, because, when you're playing to a song and it ends, you
Yeah.
got to be done, So, anyway, that's...
But it's interesting to me, the vision part of it, that you can see it before it actually happens. One other thing I think is interesting is the favorite thing that you've done for me, well, it wasn't for me, but that I've seen, is the necklace that you're wearing, the cross, where Jesus is inside the cross, and he's grabbing a hold of somebody drowning and holding on to God.
Yeah.
Where a cross is in the middle. It's beautiful, beautiful painting, and we've made it into a piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. But I think it's funny that before we partnered on this, somebody stole your design
Yeah.
from China
Yeah.
and started selling your stuff
Yeah.
overseas. And so you got to be careful about your artwork. But I would recommend that people take a look at what you've done. The paintings, the prints, the different things. You can get them on different substrates and or in different things. But I think when you get a piece of artwork that speaks to you and you hang it up, you don't just forget it. Every time you walk by it, it kind of draws you in. Where are you at today? So I know you've retired from teaching.
Yeah.
What is Larry doing now?
Well, I keep getting messages from different sources saying I need to start doing more artwork.
Yeah.
My wife tells me this, my kids tell me this, and I'm starting to get other people telling me because I haven't done it in a while. And a couple of reasons why is last year we were flooded at our house. So
Yeah.
I've been spending a lot of time recovering from that, and we're still not finished, but we're getting there. It's livable. But anyway, as far as where I am now, I need to get back to it. And I think what I'm going to start doing, because it's a really good source for material, is start sketching during sermons at church, because that's where I got the idea for the cross.
Oh, okay.
I was at a service, and Pastor Brown, who was the assistant pastor at the time, he said something, Jesus had to go through the cross to come to get us. And that image came to my mind.
And that was the inspiration.
Yeah. Just those simple words.
Something about artistry that's always gotten me, and it's because my grandfather was an artist. Most of his stuff was charcoal or just sketching. It's something that's inside of you, so you never retire from it totally. You're never completely done.
Right.
That's just a part of who you are and how you see the world around you. So it's good to hear that you're not done, because I think there's a lot more that God can use you in doing.
Yeah.
I want to tell people today, if you want to see some of his artwork and you want to buy it, purchase it, just Google in artist Larry Cole. His website will come right up. We'll put it up on the screen. So if you're watching this, you'll be able to see it. And I encourage you, take a look. And then I want to close with this. If somebody wants to be an artist, or somebody thinks they have a penchant for doing art, what would you recommend?
Get a drawing pad and just draw. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't try to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because no painting I've ever done, no sculpture I've ever done has been perfect. It's flawed because I'm flawed. Yeah. And that's okay. Because Jesus makes us perfect in God's sight.
That's a good word.
Not my good. I can't. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Jesus, I know a guy.
Yeah. And you know, I remember as a kid, you could order one of those free test kits to see if you were an artist, and they'd send it in the snail mail, and they would ask you to draw things. And then, of course, the gig was to try to buy their art class or enroll. And I was terrible. I was just really bad. So that's why I was asking, you know, somebody that has an idea, you know, what would you recommend? And I think that's a good idea. Just do it.
Yeah.
And don't overthink it.
Right.
Don't over-try it.
And there are other formats and other media that you can use, even computer-generated images. There's lots of programs out there, and I use those sometimes to finalize what I want to put on canvas. I want to see it and manipulate it before I finalize it. And it's a way to just kind of experiment with different ideas before you actually, you know, set it in stone. Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. It's always good to hear from somebody that's, and you've had some accolades in your career. I know you're a humble guy, but he really is a true professional artist. And to hear how you got started and how through your life, it's really, you've been used to project to other young artists and to help them in their careers. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us in Reestablishment, because, you know, this is all about you. It's about what can you do to be the best you can be. And, of course, we recommend a life with Jesus Christ. And that is the thing that is above all of us. And when we submit to him, he does reestablish us and makes us brand new. So if you don't know Jesus Christ, today can be your day. It's just simple. Bow your head, close your eyes, and just talk to God in the way that you normally talk. He will hear you. He will answer you. He will save your soul. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Raise your hands up. Raise them up. Reestablishment. Leave not incomplete. Let's talk.
Attention, listeners. We're excited to introduce an incredible Christian artist who has truly captured our hearts here at Reestablishment. Meet Larry Cole. Inspired by the Holy Spirit, Larry brings his amazing talents to life through canvas, metal, wood, and digital media. Discover a stunning array of unique and original creations that will inspire your spirit. Visit Larry's website at larry-cole.pixels.com to explore his vast selection of artwork. Don't miss out on these beautiful pieces that celebrate faith and creativity. That's larry-cole.pixels.com. Check it out today.